Hi guys, it is Sierra here and I am back with another video, and today I'm going to talk to you about how you can take better care of your skin at home. So if you want to learn how to do that, then keep watching. Alrighty, so before we go ahead and get into it, I wanted to go over just a little bit of housekeeping. So the first thing I want to say is if you can't get a facial, every month, which I completely understand that everybody can't do that, it's very expensive and we are all trying to save money. One thing I would recommend is if you can, just go once a year. Try to get a facial once a year, because when you go, they're going to go over your skin type. They're going to go over what you need to be doing, to help your skin. And also if they do notice any changes, or if they notice something that you may really need to go to the dermatologist for, the esthetician is going to tell you. It's kind of like, when you do your annual exam at the doctor. You go at least once a year just so they can, check over, make sure everything is okay. And if you need to be referred to a specialist, they will do that. And it's the same thing. If you see an esthetician once a year, they can just kind of help you with maintaining your skin, giving you the deep cleanse. And then, like I said, if they see anything that maybe you do need to go seek a dermatologist, they will recommend that to you. Once again, estheticians cannot diagnose, but we are familiar with conditions and diseases of the skin. And if there is something that gives cause for concern, then we are going to refer you out to who we think can help. So the first thing that's going to be a part of any routine is cleansing. Cleansing is it's the most important step. It's the first step, the first thing that you're going to do. And you really want to make sure that your cleanse is very thorough. It's very good, because if it is not, the rest of what you're going to do to your face is going to suffer. So when it comes to cleansing, I can always tell when I look at people's skin, who is cleansing well and who is not. So if you are someone who wears a lot of makeup, who even if you're an athlete, sunscreen, you definitely want to make sure your cleanses are good and thorough. I mean, really we all should, but especially people who are going to be sweating a lot, wear a lot of makeup, sunscreens, all of that stuff. And as the weather gets warmer, we're all going to be outside more, so sweat, sunscreen, that's something we want to make sure we're properly removing. So your first cleanse is really going to be all about just removing that initial layer of dirt and grime. So you are going to be, using a cleansing oil, a cleansing balm. Sometimes people use micellar waters. Let me see, make sure I got them. Yeah, those are the main cleansers that a lot of people use to remove that initial, dirt and grime, which is very important, because anything after that, you want to make sure it's able to penetrate and get into the skin. So cleansing balms, cleansing oils, or even make sure whatever cleanser you're using, it says that this cleanser is suitable for removing makeup, which all cleansers are not. And typically they will tell you on the bottle. So even like a creamy cleanser, those are really good to break down waterproof things such as mascara, makeup, the long wear stuff that we use all the time. So that is going to be your first initial cleanse. And I tell people all the time, do as many as you need to do, so that when you wipe your face, there is no residue. There's nothing left over. So if you need to do first cleanse, second cleanse, third cleanse of just the balm, just to make sure you're getting everything off, then you need to go ahead and do that to ensure that all that makeup is off. A lot of times what people will do is they'll cleanse and then they don't want to do another one, so they'll get a toner and use the toner to wipe off. Toners, exfoliating toners with active ingredients are not meant to remove the dirt and makeup off of your face. That's what cleansers are for. So that first cleanse really needs to be all about just removing the day, getting that initial first layer off. A second cleanse is really more for active ingredients. So if you have a cleanser that has AHA, BHA, peptides, amino acids, things that have more active ingredients, you want to make sure that you're using that's your second cleanse, and you've thoroughly removed everything off. I feel like I don't really want to use those to remove makeup, and you really shouldn't. And typically on the bottle, it will let you know, like, you really need to do a pre-cleanse before you even, use that cleanser. So for me, for example, when I'm cleansing my face, I always make sure I get everything off. Then I'll go on with the second cleanse, one that I use. It has glycolic tartaric. It's good for like breakouts. It's good to get rid of dead skin cells. It's also good for hyperpigmentation, keeping my skin nice, smooth, and clear. So, it wouldn't be smart of me to use that to remove makeup, because that would just then be a waste. So those are the first two things that you're gonna do. They're the most important things, and they're gonna set the tone for what is next. Alrighty, so our next step that we're going to talk about that is so important to maintaining your skin at home is exfoliation. So a lot of times I have found that there are two types of people who exfoliate too much and people who do not exfoliate enough. So this is something that you really have to find a good balance. And once you know your skin type, to me, exfoliation is super easy. It's a no-brainer. So when it comes to exfoliating, all skin types need to exfoliate. Whether you're sensitive, dry, oily, combination, normal, everyone needs to exfoliate to get rid of those dead skin cells that can breed bacteria that lead to breakouts. And also it affects your product absorption, so products won't absorb if you're just applying that on top of dead skin cells. And the most important reason why we need to exfoliate is as we age, our cells begin, we have cell turnover, and it slows down as we age. So typically the average cell turnover rate is about 3 to 4 weeks. And so as we get older, that window gets wider and wider and wider, and it's our responsibility to help our skin along. So that's what exfoliation does. Now, when I say 3 to 4 weeks, that's healthy, not compromised skin. And when I say not compromised, internally, you're all good to go. Everything is running as it normally should. But of course, if you have health issues, then your skin is going to be affected in how it, does what it does. So the next thing is, when you're exfoliating, you want to make sure that you have the right exfoliator for your skin. What is the best type of exfoliation? A lot of people want to know, do you like our scrubs? What works? And in my personal opinion, I love chemical exfoliators, and I love enzymes. And a lot of times nowadays you get both of those. So you'll find exfoliators that do have enzymes in them as well as acids. So for example, there is a exfoliator that I use by Skin Script that is 1% glycolic acid, 1% salicylic acid, and then it uses enzymes, fruit enzymes, to help eat away the dead skin cells. So that's something. One that I would also recommend, this one is a physical exfoliator, but I personally like it for individuals who maybe you are noticing not just dryness, but you see like bits of dry skin that are flaking off. To me, those physical exfoliators or scrubs, the ones that have the little beads, those are nice when we also need like a physical exfoliation, when we're seeing the dead skin cells coming off. So one that I have always liked is the Murad AHA BHA exfoliating cleanser, which is really, really nice because you can do this as a cleansing step instead of like having to, do like maybe a mask type deal, or you have to sit and wait. You can do it as a cleansing step after you've done your first cleanse, but that one is really nice. It has jojoba beads that have been rounded and pounded, so you're not going to get those jagged beads that can potentially cause micro tears. A lot of people often ask me about the St. Ives scrub, and every time I hear that, I have to channel, we listen and we don't judge. But I'm gonna go ahead and let you know that is probably like the worst thing you could put on your face. And I even tell people, if you're using a scrub and it just does not feel comfortable, like it feels sharp, you feel like something is cutting, do not keep using that and get rid of it. Like, get rid of it right away. So when it comes to your skin and exfoliation, that is something that you want to do regularly. So just to give a gauge, this isn't a hard and fast rule, because once again, I don't know everybody in the world's skin type. So, you may listen to this, but take it with a grain of salt. So typically with drier skin types, you can do 2 to 3 times a week. Pretty much all the skin types, 2 to 3 times a week. If you are more on the sensitive side, you might want to do 2 times a week, but I often tell people you want to break it up. So if you exfoliate 2 to 3 times a week, you may do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Monday and then Wednesday if you only do it 2. But the most important thing when it comes to exfoliating is that you want to be consistent with what you're using and with what you do. And I often tell people as well, listen to your skin. If you're starting off 3 times a week and you're like, ooh, my skin is just feeling sensitive, then just dial it back or do 2 times a week. You have to listen to what your skin. Sometimes people read the directions and they, despite how their skin is feeling and what their skin is telling them, they'll continue to keep doing the same thing. I always say it's safer to do less than it is to do more. So, I don't tell people, if it says 4, do 5. No, but it is safer to dial it back if you're feeling, those changes in your skin. All right, so the next important step of taking care of your skin at home is extractions. So a lot of estheticians are going to tell you, like, leave the extracting to the professional, because you can really hurt yourself and make things worse, which is very true. But I, like many people before I became an esthetician, like, if you see a pimple and you see that it's ready to come out, you're not gonna book a facial. A lot of people are going to take care of it themselves. There are even people who book facials that will still take care of it themselves. So I am going to talk a little bit about how you can do extractions safely and you don't hurt yourself. But the most important thing in the process is being able to identify, is this a pimple that I can extract? So the first thing I always tell people is, if it's red, hard, if it's not coming to an head, if like you graze it and you feel like you want to die, that is a cystic breakout and it's not something that can be extracted. And typically when it's cystic, it's going to be along the jawline on the chin. And like I said, it's going to feel just really inflamed, really red. It may even feel like it's deep under the skin, and that's cystic. That is not something that you can extract. Now, then there is another type of breakout that is called a pustule. So when you see it, you'll see it has like a little white head on the top of it, and it looks like it is ready to blow. So typically with that one, you know what to do. Most people get out their little tool or their finger and they'll press it and it goes, you know what it goes, and it's ready to come out. And then another one that people are familiar with, of course, is the blackhead, or the sebaceous filament, where you see there is the little, you see the hole where the pore is, and then of course it's black. And typically when you apply a little bit of pressure to it, it will start to bloop, it'll start to just come out, or you can definitely tell that there is some type of oil in the pore. So when you have the ones that are ready to extract, which are the blackhead and the pustule, something that you need to keep in mind is how you can prep the skin so that it's not necessarily a painful experience. So the first thing you want to do is use heat to soften it. So if you have a washcloth, a hot washcloth, let it run under some warm water, and once it's warm, you're gonna sit it on top and just leave it there, press into it for a little while. Sometimes, depending on the stage of the pustule, sometimes just applying that heat will make it just come right out. It'll just come right out and it'll be ready to go. And then when it comes to the blackhead, it won't come right out, but it'll definitely soften it, so you don't have to apply like so much pressure. It's less pressure to get it out. So that is something that you definitely want to do to start. And then when it comes to the blackhead, or even pustules a little bit, because that happens too. When let's say you use the white washcloth, press, and okay, you see maybe, like, for example, the pustule, you see that what has come out, but you're noticing that there is still something in there that needs to come out. So the next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna extract. Personally speaking, I don't like it when the general public uses tools, because most people are not using them correctly, and most people are going to hurt and injure themselves. So what I like to show my clients is the 2-finger method, because I'd rather teach you the safe way than you go and do something on your own and hurt yourself. So I teach my clients the 2-finger method, which involves taking your 2 index fingers. You're going to wrap them in a Kleenex or toilet tissue. You do not want to use paper towel. That's too abrasive. I don't recommend that, and a lot of times when you do that, it'll leave like the imprints from the paper towel. So I tell people tissue, toilet tissue, that works just fine. And with the toilet tissue, because it's thin, you may want to like double it up, but those work. And then you're gonna go ahead and come in at an angle, almost like you want to kind of scoop up the pimple and then apply pressure. You're never gonna go directly, like straight in with the tip of your nails. You never even want to use your nails to extract at all. That is just so dangerous. And if you're gonna use your nails, you might as well just go in with the extractor tool and go ahead and use that. If you have one of those, I'm not gonna tell you how to use it, because I've just seen too many people use it wrong and really hurt themselves. They end up, creating a wound instead of like extracting. They create a wound, and healing a pimple is totally different than healing an open wound, and that can just get bad. So I definitely recommend the 2-finger method, and I think it's way better and it's way safer. But of course, like I said, hot towels can definitely loosen up the skin. If you want to get fancy, if you want to really create that facial at home, Amazon has wonderful at-home steamers that can be purchased. I even have one that I like to use at home when I give myself a little, when I'm doing extractions on myself, or using an enzyme that requires a little bit of steam. So yeah, that is how you do extractions. And once you're able to get those pores clear, if you're able to get a lot out, number one, kudos to you. You are the pro today. And now you're able to apply serums and other things that can help tighten those pores and prevent more from getting in. So removing what's in there is just so important. And yes, you can do it safely at home without having to see a professional. Alrighty, so last but not least, let's go ahead and talk about serums. Serums are a very important thing that you can do to help take care of your skin at home, because serums are really like a treatment. They offer so many different things for whether it's signs of aging, hyperpigmentation, breakouts, even if you're struggling with improving your skin barrier because you have sensitivity, there is a serum for you. And when it comes to serums, one of the I'd say biggest concerns that I get is people don't know when to apply them. So typically, if you're just doing your regular routine, once you cleanse, if you have a toner, if you have a refresher spray or a acid toner, something that you use, you're going to do your serums after the toning step. So after the toning, before the moisturizer. And then you'll go ahead and you'll apply your serum, and then you're going to apply your moisturizer and then your sunscreen. Now, I'm sure you're probably thinking, Sierra, I don't use just one serum. I use multiple serums. So how do I determine which serum goes on when? So I tell people it's going to be the thinnest to thickest. So every serum is not thin. Some are a little thicker, but they're definitely not as thick as a moisturizer. So when you look at your serums, how that's going to determine the order. If you have the hyaluronic acid serum, then you're going to use that first. Then you may have a vitamin C serum. You may notice that's a little thicker. Then that is going to go on. And then your moisturizer, and then your sunscreen if it's during the day, or at night, just your moisturizer. When it comes to applying your serums, you really want to give each of them time to sink in. You know, don't be in a rush to just apply back to back, because what's going to happen is the product is going to start to ball up. It's going to do something weird on your skin. So always give your products time to just absorb and, sink into your skin. But serums are absolutely a game changer in maintaining your skin at home. There's so many companies that do wonderful ones. A really great affordable brand that a lot of people are familiar with, of course, is The Ordinary. They have their infamous hyaluronic acid serum. They also have a soothing skin serum. It's pink. It's really nice. It's good for compromised barrier. So if you're sensitive, you find yourself more on the irritated side, that particular serum is there to help rebuild your barrier so you're not as sensitive, and also hydrate you as well. Another one that I've used is the Murad Resurgence, their retinoid. I think they have a retinoid serum that's great for anti-aging if you're trying to resurface with dealing with texture, fine lines, but also, of course, signs of aging. But yeah, so those are some serums I would recommend. And really make sure that you are investigating your serums. Sometimes if it's too good to be true, it probably is. Investigating those things are really important when it comes to serums, but I love them, and they should definitely be a part of your routine if you want to take care of your skin at home and give serums a try. Alrighty guys, and another thing that I wanted to talk about is the last step, which of course is SPF. There is a lot of, back and forth about it. I have a pretty much solid rule. If you're going to be exposed to sunlight, cell phone, computers at work, you need to wear SPF. It is so important in keeping us youthful, because all those things that I just mentioned age our skin. So when we have a block that protects us, it will definitely help with how we age. I just tell people all the time, just throw it on after the moisturizer. And I don't typically like sunscreens that have a whole lot going on. So if they're like, oh, this is a sunscreen that has you know, algae and elderberry and this and all these other. I don't need my sunscreen to be a moisturizer. That's what I have a moisturizer for. So I just applied the sunscreen at the end. Some of my favorite sunscreens, of course, are La Roche-Posay, Vichy. Those can be found at CVS, Supergoop. Those could be found at Sephora. Much my go-to sunscreens. So you definitely want to make sure you have one if you want to keep looking, you know, young and your skin looking supple and not wrinkly and damaged. So yeah, definitely make sure you get yourself a sunscreen. But that is it, guys. These are all the things that you could be doing at home, especially if you cannot you know, if you can't see an esthetician. Once again, I do recommend, you know, if you can, trying to see an esthetician at least once a year. That way they could kind of help you, tell you your skin type. That way you have the tools you need to make the best skincare decisions. Because a lot of times, you know, people are getting their information from TikTok and all of that. And the reality of it is those people haven't laid eyes on your skin. And I'm not saying that, you know, those platforms are not helpful. They're very helpful. But even, you know, as a professional, you know, I can only say so much. If I don't see your skin, you know, this isn't going to help you. So please reach out to, you know, look up your esthetician. And you don't have to, you know, get an hour facial. A lot of places have options. You can get a 30-minute, 45-minute, hour. If you, let's say you're like, look, I want to get the whole shebang and I want her to talk me through the whole process, I would recommend getting a 90-minute facial. Like that is amazing. And don't be afraid, like if you do decide to go to tell your esthetician, look, I'm new to this, I really want to take better care of my skin at home. Do you think you can kind of talk me through what you're doing or tell me what you're doing and, you know, maybe recommend some things for me to use and try? Because we love to do that. That's what we want to do. We want to educate you and give you the tools that your skin can continue to flourish until you decide to come back and see us again. But that is it for this video. I hope you found it super helpful. I hope you enjoyed watching. And if you want to see more stuff like that, please, like this, not that, like this, please comment, rate, and subscribe. And let me know what else you want me to talk about, maybe skincare wise. But thank you again for watching and being on this journey with me. So I will see you next time. Bye-bye.